Hi everyone, welcome back. We are finishing up this lesson, Module 2, Topic 1, Lesson 4, with the Talk on page 220. I really like this activity because this is most real life for us. It's something that you guys will use throughout your life, and that's taking a recipe and doubling it, or in this case, we're doing 5 batches or 10 batches. So there's a recipe for making lollipops. It calls for 2 cups of granulated sugar, 2/3 cups light corn syrup, 3/4 cup water, and 1/4 teaspoon of flavoring oil. I'm wondering if this actually works. I would like to make this. The table represents the ratio of ingredients used to make lollipops. Complete the ratio table. At this point, you should be able to do this. In class, I'm going to have you do this independently or with a partner, so please pause right now and give it a shot. Okay, so one batch has 2 cups of sugar, 2/3 corn syrup, 3/4 cup water, 1/4 teaspoon of oil. So if we're going to make 2 batches, we're going to double it. All of these numbers are going to be multiplied by, so to go from this column to here, we're going to multiply everything by 2 the entire way down. So 2 cups of sugar would become 4 cups of sugar. 2/3 times 2. So if I do times 2/1, remember when you're multiplying fractions, you're just going to multiply straight across. So that will be 4/3, which is the equivalent of 1 and 1/3. So 3/4 times 2 is going to be 6/4, which is the equivalent of 1 and 1/2. And 1/4 times 2 is going to be the equivalent of 2/4, which is the same as 1/2 of a cup. You generally don't see recipes that say 2/4 of a cup. Okay, let's go to the next column. So if we're doing 5 batches, we're going from here to here by doing a times 5 on everything. So 2 times 5 is going to give us 10. 2/3 times 5, I'm going to squeeze it in here. You can just put the answer if you want. So that gives us 10/3, which is the equivalent of 3 and 1/3. 3/4 times 5 is going to give us 15/4. Again, we don't go around saying I need 15/4 cup. Let's see, we can get 3 whole cups out. That's 4 times 3 is 12. 15 minus 12. There's going to be 3/4 left. And then 1/4 times 5 gives us 5/4, which is 1 whole teaspoon and 1/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, excellent. Let's move on to 10. So here we're just multiplying everything by 10. If we went from 1 over, we could do a times 10. If we went from 5 over, we could do a times 2. If we went from the 2 over, we could do a times 5. It doesn't matter how you do it. Honestly, I think times 10 is easy. Anytime we're multiplying by any number that's a base of 10, it's pretty easy. So 2 times 10 is 20. 2/3 times 10 is going to be 20/3, which is the same as, let's see, we can get 6 wholes out of 20. 3 times 6 is 18, with 2/3 left. 3/4 times 10 equals 30/4. And we can get 7 whole groups of 4 out. 4 times 7 is 28. So that would give us 2/4 left, which is then the same as 7 and 1/2. And then we have I don't know why it just got blurry. All of a sudden, it's been good. Why is this blurry? I do not get it. I am so sorry, guys. I really need a good document camera. I don't know. It's been good all along. I've done so many videos today. There we go. I don't know. I guess that worked. Okay. So now we are doing 1/4 times 10, which is 10/4. Oops. Which is 2 wholes, and that would be 2/4 left, which is 2 1/2. Again, if you don't need to do all of this part in here, you don't have to. I'm going to pause. I'm going to fill out another table and come back and show you what yours might look like. Okay, so I just took another copy of it and just filled it out with just the answers. So your table may look like that. And if it does, that's fine. As long as you are understanding how you're getting from one to the other. Like here, you might want to still show the times 10. This is times 2 here. And then we have times 5 here. Okay. I'm going to go back to the other page though, because it's just a little bit cleaner because it doesn't have all the other stuff on the other side. Okay, for each number of batches, describe how you can add equivalent ratios to determine the amount of each ingredient needed. So how could we do 3 batches? Well, that one's pretty easy, right? So we could add the quantities in, I'm just going to say column 1 and 2. So that's like 4 batches, 1 and 2. So, right, 1 plus 2 gives us 3. What about 7 batches? Well, for that, we could add the columns. There's an N there. Columns 4, 2, and 5 batches. I like how I worded that one better. For each number of batches, describe how you can subtract equivalent ratios. All right, so how could we get to 3 if we're using subtraction? So we could subtract the quantities ah, uh, let's see, in column 2 from column 5. In other words, do 5 batches minus 2 batches. So for example, for sugar, 5 batches minus 2 batches would give us 10 cups of sugar minus 4 cups of sugar, which would give us a total of 6. Let's see if it works up here for adding 1 and 2 to get us 3. So if we add 1, we'd have 2 cups. Add 4 cups from column 2 gives us 6. Notice how it worked in both. And what about 7 batches? How would we get 7 batches? This one's a little bit trickier. So if we're going to subtract to get 7, we would have to start with the 10. And what would we have to do? We're going to have to subtract 3 off of it, but I don't see a 3 here. So to get 3, we would have to first do what? So we would have to add batches 1 and 2. Then subtract that total from the amount in the 10 batch. So, for example, so let's talk about sugar. So if we did 1 batch plus 2 batches, so this is the batches. The sugar is going to be 2 plus 4. So we have a total of 6. Okay. We're going to subtract that from the 10. So we have the 10 batch minus the 1 and the 2 batch together. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that should give us the 7. So the amount of sugar in 10 is 20 minus the amount of batch 1 and 2 together is 6. So minus 6 should give us 14 cups of sugar. Let's check that one other way. Let's go back up here for the 7. So if we add 2 and 5, sugar in 2 is 4 cups. And in 5 batches, it's 10 cups. And that gives us a total of 14 cups, which does in fact match what we have. I love math. If you like math, put a little smiley face down here. I'm not going to write it. I'm going to see if you heard what I said.